But that was my initial reaction was like, are you seriously trying to capitalize on the shit that has been going down? Like, are you actively trying to be to you know? This is real right now. But what we found out was that she claimed some things. She claimed some things. Daniel, in response to this, said that's not 100% true. Now, if you go back to like
Right.
the
His actual words were mostly false.
mostly false, which is the same thing I said, it's just not a quote. I was wrong. Um, so here's the deal. That basically means something he told something she claimed happened.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. What of the things he claimed, or of the things she claimed, what of that was did he consider worth accepting?
You know she hid that gun in her pudenda.
I really just don't think you understand how like the female body works. Like if she hid the gun anywhere, it would probably be in her bra. Because if she got pat down, like if she hid it under like in her skirt, like between
She
her thighs.
said under her skirt.
Okay, under her skirt. That meant that she probably had it under her stomach fold. Which would have been a dumb idea because if she had to get out of the car, it was gonna fall.
Unless she had that gorilla grip.
I said under her stomach.
Yes, I know what she said.
I think there are more women out there who think they have a tight vagina than there are tight vaginas in the world. Because my thing is like, well, yeah, of course you think your vagina's tight. You actively fuck dudes with huge dicks. Like I was like, yeah. If I say I can't wear shirts because they're all too small, but I keep buying mediums, what the fuck do you expect? That's what I mean. So like, yeah, I would argue that like if from Dan's perspective, he's not gonna admit to being like, yeah, I was showing her donkey porn.
Honestly, yeah, I would say that the things that are most likely to be true are
The gun,
everything except the gun.
everything but the gun, really. I think the gun was like, I think the gun is the most likely.
And no, because he had already been accused of very similar things by multiple other people.
That
So
doesn't mean
why
it's
wouldn't that,
because
based on if you're just correlating, you have to believe.
no, but that's the thing. I don't believe that. I don't believe those people when they say he was just showing them porn. I don't. I just don't believe that. I don't believe it because I wasn't there. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying I don't believe it. I'm not saying that they're
Yeah,
liars. I'm saying I don't believe it.
but at the same time, because when we're talking about the climate, if we look at the climate, okay,
It's cold.
climate, the climate of the '90s,
The
right?
the '90s climate. You're saying.
He was a white male
Uh huh.
surrounded by other white males in
Yeah.
power.
Mm-hmm.
There was no Me Too movement. Women were subservient, and he was already getting away with murder. So why wouldn't he? And a lot of people said that he had this attitude about like where he would push you just to see how much he could get away with. And
Mm.
because he was the boss, he got given a lot of inches. So he took a lot of miles.
Again, I'm not saying it didn't happen. That's that I didn't believe it.
I believe I feel like a lot of the stuff that was said that happened within the office, I feel like a lot of that is more plausible. The gun thing definitely could have happened,
I think that's
but
the one thing that definitely happened.
it's like you said though.
But it
Do
doesn't make
you
any
think
sense.
the officer actually recognized him from
No,
Head of the Class?
no.
Like, he wasn't even a star on Head of the Class, was he?
I didn't. I don't. You bro. I didn't know that show existed until I watched Quiet on Set.
Yeah, me neither. And I know a lot of shows exist.
What an interesting bit of tidbit you just gave us there.
Put that on a shirt.
Say what? Put that on a shirt.
Put that on a shirt.
What an interesting bit of tidbit.
I'm starting a merch line for you.
Speaking of shirts, I am so upset that like the amount of people who did not ask me about my fucking Ted Cruz shirt.
Your Ted Cruz shirt, dude. I wore it literally through a freaking
Oh,
a training.
you
I
worn it
was on
already.
camera. I was on camera for an hour and a half with that shirt, and nobody said a word.
I faked it. When I was in the hospital, I had it because like I was wearing it that week, like that I ended up in the hospital, and so like the only time anybody asked me about that shirt was like after I got my backpack and I started going through it, and I took the shirt out and I laid it on the back of the chair, like to like let it air out because it had been in my backpack for like 2 weeks, for like a week and a half. And I think I think there was a group of nurses who came in, and they all saw it, and they started talking amongst themselves about like, what the hell is that? And then eventually somebody asked me, what does that mean? And I was like, oh, I don't know. Which is the shitty part.
It has no meaning.
Like it doesn't mean anything.
No meaning.
It means absolutely nothing. It's just, and like when I showed my in-home nurse, like when I first got it, I was like, before I show you this, don't ask me what it means because I don't know. Like it's just funny, and it's like for those wondering, it's literally the shirt says, "This man ate my son," and it's a picture of Ted Cruz smiling in the middle of the shirt. I can't stress to y'all enough how fucking hilarious it is. I don't know why it's funny. I don't know why it's funny. Like I just don't. But like there's something about the phrasing. It's
Yeah. But this is one of those things where you can explain like this is why we're friends.
Yeah. Because we both think that's
we
goddamn.
both saw it. We saw it in two different mediums.
Yes. And we're like, I
and
have
we're
to have
both
this.
like, I'm buying this.
I have to have this in my life. I need to own this. And like that's definitely what happened. Because like when I saw that shirt, here's the wild part. When I saw that shirt, I saw it on a dude named Big Tug here on YouTube. And I said to myself, I'm getting your bro that shirt. And I just straight up like Googled the phrasing Ted Cruz t-shirt. And I was like, I'm buying him this shirt. Only to find out he already had pins of the exact same graphic. Like, so yeah. Like I'm in the hospital and I have this shirt. It's literally just like, the question is like, what does that mean? The answer is it means absolutely nothing.
Zero.
But in my head, I always picture Ted Cruz holding a toddler by the waist, unhinging his jaw, and just eating the baby from the head down.
That's something out of Doctor Who.
Weird. I was thinking Little Nicky. That scene.
I think that was on Doctor Who.
It was like just ate the baby.
Are
Because there's absolutely no way you can visualize that in a non-graphic way. It's incredibly graphic and awful, and truly awful.
So my thing though is like because there are some conspiracies on the internet that just tickle me. And one of them is that Ted Cruz is the Zodiac Killer, and like that's why it's so funny to me. Because there's zero proof.
No,
Zero proof. People just started saying it, and it took off.
That's kind of how I felt about like Sierra being a man.
Yeah.
I refused to let that go. To this
For the
day.
first 5 years of her career. No. Probably all the way up until she popped out Future's baby. People were like, I thought Sierra was a man.
Like, and I don't know why I thought that. Because, like,
That was the rumor.
Yeah,
Everybody did.
we were in high school when that rumor started. I don't know how I heard about it, but I knew at the time, like, I think in my head, it was so fucking ridiculous. I was like, well, I'm clearly going to just choose to accept it. Like, I'm choosing to believe this is true. It was a choice. And, like, to this day, like, because what's the song with, music make you lose control? That song? Yeah, like, how does her part start? Well, my name is Sierra. Like, all the fly fellas.
No one can do it
Yeah.
better.
So I've always said, real, goddamn. I've always
What? I
fucking
like the
said,
song.
yeah, I know, but fuck, I was shit. You are in my ear with that. So I just fucking say, hi, my name is Sierra. I used to be a fella. It's not funny, but it's all I needed. It was all if Sierra, if you happen to find this video, and you
make it all
and you made it all the way here, and you're offended, just know I don't actually think you're a man. Like, I
But
know.
I am a fat man who is much more than you.
Yes.
So
And I definitely
have
am a
mercy.
man. I'm a fat man with titties. I'm not a woman. Like, I'm not a woman at all. But by all means, like, hey. Like, I'm telling you now, I thought it was funny as a teenager. And, like, as an adult, I just think it's funny because I'm remembering how funny I used to think it was. It's not, I don't think it's real. I don't think it's true. But it is still kind of
it was fun for a period of time.
Yeah. And that period hasn't ended.
Do you think?
That period
What
hasn't
person
ended.
do you think hated her enough to start that rumor?
I don't even think it was out of malice.
It was not localized to Caruthersville. That was a widespread rumor.
Yeah, a rumor that she used to be a
in
dude.
the black community.
Yeah. Same goes for okay, let's be real. I think like the thing is like if there's this rapper named Olivia. She was in a G Unit. There was a rumor that she used to be a man. And then there's Megan Thee Stallion. There was a rumor that she used to be a man. I think, generally speaking, I think it's funny when a woman is being claimed, when like rumors go around that a woman used to be a man. I don't know why I think it's funny, but I do. Like, cause I still hold on to the idea that Megan Thee Stallion used to be a dude, or probably still is a dude. Mostly because she has a very masculine stature. That's it. Like, just does. I don't know if she used to be a man. I don't give a fuck if she is or was. It's completely irrelevant. Like, it's completely irrelevant. It's just really funny to me. That's it. Like, it's just really fucking funny. But back to Lori Beth, because like that's what we came here to discuss. Like yeah, we 100% was like when I heard that she was trying to like get a little bit of fame off of this conversation, I was just like, ain't no fucking way, man. Like, girl, sit down.
I didn't feel like she was.
Girl, have several.
Because it came weeks and weeks and weeks later.
Yeah, it did, but that's why I was wondering like if they were just really trying to like keep this shit moving.
Okay, here's how we'll know. If in a few weeks we get something else. Like that's going to be the biggest way to tell, because that's the whole reason we got part 5, which was absolutely useless.
Yeah, goddamn,
because it got so much traction during the first parts. They were like, okay, what can we do to follow this up? Let's add some not new information. Let's just have them talk about how their lives have been since this aired, I guess. So yeah, useless information for your everyday life. But as far as this goes, there was no video. It was just an interview. Like she just did an interview with somebody. It's in print. Now let's see if it progresses to anything else. Now I have seen
I doubt that
that
it
there was
will.
there. Well, they have asked. Daniela Monet, who was an actress on
iCarly?
Victorious.
Victoria.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
on Victorious. She played Trina. You remember the doctor says I ain't never gonna walk again.
Yeah, that's it.
Not even on these
Crutches.
patches. Yeah, so that was her. And somebody, like, I guess some people asked her about it, and she was like, "No, I'm not gonna watch it. I don't have anything to say." So there are people out there fishing and looking, but we'll see if it's that specific source, if it's the same people, if they're the ones who are trying to keep it going. Because that's how you know that they're still like reaching claude for something.
Mm.
Who else was there? There's a funny video of Orlando Jones.
Everything Orlando Jones, like not Orlando Jones. Orlando Jones, as in like the dude from Mad TV, or Orlando
No,
Brown.
so that's Brown. Dang it.
Uh,
Yeah, my brain. There are so many Orlandos in my head right now.
three. I got
Yeah.
three. Brown, Bloom, and Jones.
Oh, see, Bloom wasn't even in my head,
Mm.
which is not normal. The other one in my head was Jordan.
Orlando Jordan? Who the fuck is that?
He was a wrestler.
Oh.
Um, but yeah, Orlando Brown. He came. They were asking him, and he was like, "I worked for Disney. We didn't have any of that going on." I'm like, man, yeah, right.
Mm.
Like, was he not the one who said that
Yes.
he gave Raven that?
Yes. That
And then
bop, yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and there's rumors that they have a kid together or whatever.
I don't know about all that, but Orlando Brown definitely is fucking crazy. Like,
Oh, 100%. He's hilarious though. It's always
like
funny.
he's clearly on drugs.
Yeah, very messed up.
Like, he is clearly on drugs.
Like, there's this show. Have you heard of the Zeus Network? I'm sure you have.
The Zeus Network?
Zeus,
No,
like the King of the Gods. You've never heard of the Zeus Network? Well, the Zeus Network
no.
is single-handedly making black people look horrible in the world.
Oh, it's the new
Um,
BEC. Got it.
and so they started this show called Bad Boys Club, similar to the Bad Girls Club. But and on one season, they put Orlando Brown in the house on one season, and they literally picked him up from jail and put him in the Bad Boys Clubhouse, along with Brad B.
From B2K?
Yes,
I'm not ashamed that I knew what band he was in. You're in the band,
and
bitch. Will you play instruments?
a bunch of other people that I don't know.
Mm.
But it's all literally just for them to act like idiots in the house. And Orlando was actually like quite. It was weird because for that period of time, because he had been in jail. When you go to jail, they sober you up before they put you in jail. They make you detox. So before they put him in the house, he was clean. And so while he was in the house, he was relatively normal, but not normal. Like he was still just like a little wackadoo because the crazy is real, not
Mm.
completely drug fueled. Um,
Wackadoo.
but like then after he got out, then he went back on whatever he was doing. I saw a freaking TikTok one day when people were literally driving and they spotted him just walking down the sidewalk, and they were like, "Is that Orlando?" and they just picked him up. Like he just got in the car with them.
Oh yeah, he crazy. And they stupid.
But anybody is gonna do anything for their 15 minutes.
And I can't stress to y'all enough. Like, if y'all think like this whole thing with Orlando ain't nothing, goddamn, Lori Beth, you are like the slipperiest motherfucker. Like, we cannot talk about you. You are slippery.
I told you it was from the beginning. Like there wasn't a whole lot.
No. But hold on. The thing we were supposed to talk about was fatness. That's what we were supposed to get to. Can't get to it.
Her undesirableness because of being fat.
Like, yeah, she is so fucking
and how it
slippery.
makes us feel.
Like, we're gonna get there though.
I'm sure she was like a steel. If you oil her up, you just can't hold on to her.
But no, like, so the whole thing with Orlando Brown, for those who don't know, Andy Dick is going through the exact same shit.
Oof.
It's so much worse with Andy Dick. Because like Andy Dick has absolutely no no sense of freedom. Like the dudes or the dude that was giving Andy a place to stay, like everybody who like fucking like let Andy live with them, like would slowly start to abuse him in some way or another. Because like he was clearly a drunk and a drunk and a drug addict. And like there like if he wasn't sober, there was absolutely no trying to discuss anything with him. Like when he was sober, it was kind of like you were able to talk to him. But like yeah, the whole like they picked him like he got in their car, like that screamed, that was so reminiscent of the Andy Dick situation to me that I was just like, yo man, is Orlando okay?
No.
Because as a black man, he shouldn't have done that. Like, cause my question is, dude, do you do you value your life at all? Like, at all, do you value like your existence?
And nowadays, he's literally just used for a soundbite. Like people only deal with him when they want to bring him in so that they can record him saying something crazy and put it on the internet. That's it.
Yeah, like it's kind of like the thing Eminem said in that one song, where it's like people like want to come on the radio show and argue with them because their ratings stinks. Fuck that. Yeah, it's that feeling. It's like it's kind of like I think like the same thing what happened with Cat Williams after being on Club Shay Shay, which is the stupidest fucking name for a podcast.
Dude, the last video I saw of Orlando was him talking about clapping Cat's cheeks before Cat got famous.
Why would you feel the need to say that? Like, why did he?
He's Orlando Brown.
Like, why did you think that was necessary to say? Like, Jesus Christ. It's just one of those things you didn't need to tell people. But anyway, so yeah, the whole thing with Lori Beth Denver. It like the whole
No,
like.
wait, I want to hear the Cat Williams part.
What about it?
What were you gonna say about him going on Club Shay Shay?
No, like people want, after he was there, people were definitely gonna want to like interview Cat Williams for the same reason they want to interview Orlando Brown. It's like,
yeah, but it's not the same. It's not the same environment. He's not gonna say the same things, act the same way.
I think it depends on how you ask, like what you ask, because Cat Williams was very much like his whole thing is like, I'm just gonna tell you the truth. If you ask me a question, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people are definitely trying to figure out what can we ask him, like what can we get his opinion on, like as far as like these things out here in the world are concerned, like what like can we generate.
So I think Kel hasn't. Kel was like the most recent person on Club Shay Shay.
Kel Mitchell?
Yeah.
There was absolutely nothing Kel had to say that would have been interesting to anybody.
Well, I think it was more of like, because the only clips. Yeah, I mean that's right. because when Kat did it, like his interview was everywhere.
Yeah,
When Amanda Seales did it, her interview was everywhere.
I don't even
Um,
know who that is.
Amanda Seales, she was one of those. She was a child actress like around the same time. I
Hmm.
don't. She was on some Disney show, and then she ended up in poetry, um, and then somehow she just got. She ended up with a reputation for being. It was
Uh,
that whole Aunt Viv situation.
huh?
Like she got a she ended up with a reputation for being difficult, and
Hmm.
nobody wanted to work with her. And yeah, her interview is like 3 hours long, and I watched most of it. It's really interesting, but I haven't seen a lot of Kel. The only part of Kel's interview I saw was when he talked about how when he and Keenan had that rift forever, like for the period of time when they were not friends.
So like, I want to point out that I said like no one would want to hear anything yada yada yada. What I meant was like the people who watch Club Shay Shay. I do not, but the people who watch that kind of shit in general were most likely not going to be interested in like the stuff that Kale had to say because Kale's a relatively squeaky clean guy. Like he doesn't have anything to say. Like Kale is like a God fear. He's a Christian man, and
Yeah,
he wants to make content for kids. He wants to make
I
things
didn't
that families can
I didn't
enjoy.
know that part.
Yeah, I was
Now, something else I heard apparently he stayed with his wife after she had kids with another man multiple times.
that's
See, I don't know. I didn't look into it. I saw a headline and I was like, okay, gonna put that one in the bank.
I ain't mad at her. I ain't mad at him because I feel like I understand that feeling of like, yeah, I'm in love and there ain't really much I can do about it. Like I'm here until like these feelings go away. So I understand it. I ain't gonna hold it against him. But but um but like no, I know who Kel is for the most part because I remember a couple years ago I woke up one morning and opened YouTube and he had released a music video and it was like a Christian rap song and it was actually pretty good. And I was just like, I didn't expect this. Like, it was like, yeah, like he's been doing music for years now. Like, and I think like at the end of the day, like what Keenan does is more. It's easier for him to get into. Like, it's easier for everybody to get into. But I think music is one of those things where you have to make time to enjoy it because like there's nothing to really when you're listening to music, you're just listening to music. You're not doing anything. But like when you're watching a video, like the video is like the thing that you're doing. Like you're watching the video. Like it's like entertaining you. Whereas like music, you have to just sit and wait for it to be over. And so like I think that what Kale does is a little harder to get into. Like harder for people to get into. So I just don't think there's as many people who are aware of what Keenan's been up to. So I do think that Shannon probably had him on as a part of the whole like quiet on set debacle to see like if Kale had anything to say. But I think that was just like the wrong tree to bark up because it was not a catnip. Because Kale didn't have anything to say, Keenan didn't have anything to say. I don't think Drake would have done it. If he had asked Drake to come on, Drake would have came on. Because Drake don't know when to shut the fuck up. I
In a heartbeat.
was like, Jesus. That white boy just don't know how to be quiet. But yeah, as we round into the hour, into the second, the as we approach an hour and a half here. So our whole thing was like the whole Lori Beth thing. We immediately like wrote it off as like she's full of shit, simply because she's fat. That's it. Like we're not mincing any words here. She's fat. She's been fat. She's still fat. And so it was just hard to accept that she was like that. Dan was like, "Hey, why don't you come over here? And, what you doing, girl? Come on." Like that's what I thought. Like that's how I saw it. And then me and you had this conversation not too long ago about dating and how difficult it seems to be to date. And I think it was you. And I think me and you both like came to the conclusion that like when it comes to dating, all you have to do is not be fat. Like if you were out there looking, if you are looking for like a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or whatever the fuck, just don't be fat. You can be ugly. You can be poor. You can have bad breath. You can, I don't know. You can be a woman beater. You can be toxic. You can be, you can be awful in general. But as long as you're not fat, it's okay. Like that's the unspoken rule, and I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people out there who would say, "Oh no, that's not true at all." Like there's plenty of yes, there are a lot of overweight people who are in relationships. There are a lot of people who were fat when they met their spouse, and there are a lot of people who got fat after they met their spouse and their spouse stayed. I am not saying it is impossible to date anyone when you are fat, but I am saying that the ruling around dating people when overweight is stricter than the ruling for dating someone when you are when you're physically typical. Because like,
You are instantly less desirable unless you run into somebody with a fetish.
yeah, like just straight up, like you are, and it's one of the reasons why like I don't talk to women, like out in public. I don't flirt. Like if I do flirt, they can't tell I'm flirting because I flirt weird. But like that's just my take on like that. It's like it's like I'm not interested in getting my feelings hurt. Like I'm just not. So like that's how I look at it. Uh, but like the idea of like because you can be abusive or fat, but you can't be both. And if anybody is like because like TV always makes it seem like there's like the fat sweaty greasy husband that like slaps his wife around. Those motherfuckers don't exist. That is a construct of the human mind because it is in a lot of people's mind. That's the nightmare of like
Yeah,
having
when
this.
in reality, the fat guy's just happy he got a wife.
Yeah, in most cases, like we are definitely way more like not subjective, but we are definitely a lot more submissive. Doesn't mean you can just treat us any kind of way, but in some cases you can't treat us any fucking way you want. You know what I mean? Like that's legitimately like what's kind of happening.
Because going anywhere is too much work.
Like no, I ain't late. Like because it's definitely like the idea of like, well, look, I didn't think I was gonna get you. I didn't. So like, by all means, and that's kind of what it was. Kind of my ass. That's what it was with Georgia Girl. Like that's like we all knew that. That's why I held on to her for as long as I did. Because like I just didn't, I didn't want to start over. And a lot of people don't like starting over. If you ever see somebody in a relationship that you think is bad, unhealthy, or whatever the fuck, and you're asking like, oh my gosh, why do they fucking stay with this asshole? Because they don't want to start over. Like me and Jordan used to always talk about how like annoying we found the getting to know you phase of meeting a new somebody. Like finding out like what their favorite things are, this, that, and the third. And a lot of it's just like mostly because like at that time we were like going down the supposed checklist of things you're supposed to talk about when you meet someone new, because you're trying to figure out who they are and you're trying to figure out like how do I converse with you, and that's just not the right way to do it. Like the right way to do it is just to start talking and let everything come out organically. Like there's definitely people that I talk to now that I don't know their favorite color or what they like to eat because it hasn't come up, because I'm not buying them anything and I'm not feeding them. You know what I mean? Oh. So it's unfair for us to have like been like Lori Beth is fucking lying because she's fat. Like it's like no, because Dan was fat and I'm a fat guy and I like fat women. So like it clearly doesn't mean anything. Like her being overweight doesn't mean she's undesirable. Because I used to have a crush on Lori Beth like a motherfucker. But y'all didn't see that coming.
But also at the end of the day, though, like really the crux of what she was saying was that like he wasn't abusing her for her desirableness, because he clearly didn't like he maybe liked your voice, hence the phone sex, but there was never anything physical because he made multiple people give him massages. It was just the power thing that he was getting off on.
Mm. I am upset thinking about Lori Beth having phone sex with Dan Schneider. I hate this. I hate this. This mental image of her talking dirty or masturbating into the phone. I hate this.
Yeah, do you think he made her do any of the characters?
Bro, I'll slap you in the mouth with my open palm. I will slap your teeth. Do you understand me? Get this shit out of here.
Like at any point, if he got too loud,
His voice isn't sexy. The fuck? Who do you think, who, of all the characters she played, who the fuck do you think she was on the phone?
Connie.
Muldoon? Oh, that means he like slow. Oh, his sexual sadism goes beyond. Cause that's none of the characters that she played on this kid show were sexy. She wasn't gonna yell in his ear as the fucking librarian. Like fucking like Vital Information is just Lori Beth. That's just Lori Beth.
Yep.
That's not a character. So I don't know how to. I don't know what to tell you, man.
At the end of the day, Lori Beth, we apologize.
Dude, starving pygmies down in New Guinea. Amen.
And I wasn't even setting you up to finish it, but you just knew to.
I didn't have a choice.
And that's one of those things that Jordan wouldn't have got.
No. No, man. When I tell people like all of my friends are just different parts of my personality, my different like it's just the different aspects of my life. Like that's what it is. Like you, Mark, Jordan, and Nick. Like those. Like if when it comes down to it, those are my 4 best friends. Your bro, Mark, Jordan, Nick. Those are my 4 best friends. I don't like that many people, and I'll probably never like as many people as I like people as much as I like these motherfuckers. Everybody, like Mark is like the clearly like you might be autistic like neurodivergent part of me, like which is why I hold on to Mark despite the fact that Mark's low key terrible. Jordan is the black part of me. He is the part of me that like is black but doesn't want to have to be black. Like. We like the gangster music, the thug shit. We like.
Don't make me break my foot off.
Yeah, it's one of them motherfuckers. It's the like, I got a pistol on me, trust me, but for the love of God, don't make me pull it out. Like, I don't want to ever have to shoot anybody. But yeah, I keeps my strap. And like, yes, I like my gun. And yes, I like loud gangster music. Like, I like nigga shit. Like, but I don't really want to be seen as that. Like, and then you are my, oh, so just because I'm black doesn't mean I have to be like this. I can like whatever the fuck I want to like. Oh, fuck yeah. I can just be me. And Nick is me. Nick is the part of me that I am when no one's around. When I'm completely alone and it's just me and my thoughts, me and Nick are like simpatico. It's creepy to a degree. It really, really is. But yeah, like that's 4. I only need 4 motherfuckers. That's it. Just 4. And like that's why like when me and you do this, when we do something sort of like a podcast, it works because of like me and you grew up on TV, so I think like people like us doing a podcast is like it only makes sense because when we get in front of a microphone and like you're allowing us to talk, we're gonna go for it. And like I can tell you, like everybody in my friend circle is not like that. Nick and Mark and Yabrel, Mark and Jordan are not the best at it. When it comes to being on a mic and just like talking. Because me and you don't really worry about canceling. You know what I mean? Nick wouldn't either.
Even though it's my dream.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you. You probably need to try to hurry the fuck up with that because I don't think that like it's gonna be a thing for much longer. I think eventually
I mean,
the
it
idea.
already.
It what?
People are realizing that they can just power right through a cancel.
Yeah, like I think like being canceled is a thing of the past. Like it's slowly just not. It's just not working out because like the idea of accepting a cancellation is giving power to people who don't deserve the power, and I think people are
Yeah.
starting to learn that like no, I'm not giving you this ability to
Yeah, but
ruin people.
part of the reason people figured that out was Matt Rife.
And so yeah, but no, like so like the idea of fucking like I'm not. Oh my god, she was an adult, I guess. That might have been like one of the reasons he hung out with her is if they hung out a lot. I'd imagine that had a lot to do with it. But she was
Oh
also
yeah, she was the oldest member of the cast.
yeah.
So at that time, no one else would have been of age. He was only 10 years older than her. Um, so at the time, like she was 18, 19, and he would have been 28, 29. Which, when you think about it, like that's
Surprisingly young.
it's no, but that's the thing though. It's not though, because think about um, like these movies that were considered greats, like freaking Godfather in the '70s and whatever Martin Scorsese did back then, and those guys are old now, and those were 50 years ago, so they were the same age, like making that kind of stuff. And, like it's crazy.
Oh, so we've missed our window.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like, it's insane.
I respect it. Did you ever hear the story? Because like Lori Beth is a slippery bitch. Uh, did you ever hear the story of the guy who wrote The Godfather? He had never taken like he had never studied on how to write a screenplay. Like he didn't know how to write a screenplay. Like he didn't know how to write a script. But he wrote The Godfather. And I think it said like it's either after the first one or it was after the second one. He said he wanted to learn how to get better at writing screenplays. And so he bought a book to teach him how to get better at writing screenplays. And the first step was watch The Godfather.
Maybe I need to watch it.
I tried watching it. I think I have one of the Godfathers in my collection. And when I tell you, like, there's a particular, like, that and Scarface, they're both good movies. And it's one of those things where, like, I'm pretty sure you've noticed that in movies now, every scene has a score. Every scene has a score. Like, there aren't, like, quiet, there are no more, like, quiet or ambient, there's no ambient sounds anymore. Like, we for real are getting Beetlejuice too. It is wild to me that this is happening in the real world that we live in. That before the end of the year, the actual fucking sequel to Beetlejuice will debut. That's crazy to me. They have to do a third one. They have to do a third one.
Torn on seeing it.
So what?
So I'm torn on seeing it.
It's like, cause like this one's called Beetlejuice. So they have to do a third one.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, like so, like yeah, the entire concept of just if you're fat, that's all it takes to like not be likable. And I feel like because she was fat, and because Dan was fat, and because she was I think Dan liked her in general, but I think that because of Dan's like chauvinistic ways, she was young enough for him to have power over her, but at the same time, like she was also old enough for him to do things with her and it not be considered illegal.
Mm-hmm.
So like the idea of like, well, we had a relationship. Yeah, I buy into it. Like I 100% buy into it. Like
Like the saddest. Like I just got like something you said like literally just made me feel sad.
was it?
And I'm like, and I'm thinking like, is this because I've actually felt this way before? Like when you're like simply existing as a fat person makes you unlikable.
Yes, the fact
Or
that
like
I
so
am
like people they don't have to know you,
no.
simply because they can look at you and see that you are fat.
Yes.
They can make up an entire story, an entire background for your existence, and decide they don't like you. And just sit with that.
I don't front y'all. The amount of people who still support Donald Trump is just proof that like I think this like this world the world, not necessarily our country, but the world is trashed. It's trashed. It's in the garbage can. But anyway, yeah, because I took the time to check a tweet while you were talking. But no, like I don't know. I guess I don't have a choice but to agree with that because clearly, like I 100% do agree with you, and I don't know how else to like to feel about that because like when I like okay, so SpongeBob, her calling me mean out of the gate, I think that had a lot to do with it. 'Cause I was just,
No, you just come off me.
shut up.
It's the truth. You're blunt and abrasive, and a lot of people aren't used to it.
Did you say we or did you say I?
Huh?
Like, are you saying that about me or us?
No, I'm saying about you.
Oh, okay, but you do understand. You don't understand that. I don't talk when I'm not at home. Well, I don't not talk, but like I think you understand that like I don't talk to people in public.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. Like, you're blunt and abrasive, and a lot of people don't get it.
But like, how can I?
They don't understand. Like, they don't know the background.
But my thing,
And
I am blunt. I don't think I'm abrasive because I try not to like hurt feelings. I try really hard, especially out in public. I try really hard not to hurt anybody's feelings or say anything that might like change their opinion of me, like they create a negative opinion. But like I don't understand how somebody can not talk. How like you can not how you can actively be like, yeah, I don't speak to people, but then they have an opinion of you. Like, how do you have an opinion of someone who doesn't talk to you? Like, how do you do that? How can you be like, oh, this person is like this, but I don't say anything? How can that be? How can that be? How be?
yeah, but if you're not stepping into the world and you're not la-di-da friendly to everybody that you see, then you're doing it wrong.
What do
Okay.
what do you mean? Are you
Because,
saying I have
from that
to? Are you
from
saying
that point of view, like that's what that's saying. Because you didn't walk into a place with a smile on your face and say hi to every person in that space, you're doing it wrong.
I remember the first time we had like the first time like I had like an interaction with her. Like the first time like I spoke to her. She was getting my temperature. And like they have like the like it's like the IR thing. You know what I mean? Like so they don't have to physically touch you so they can get everybody's temperature with the same thing. So they don't touch you with it. And like they just scan your forehead basically. And the thing that fucked me up was she got real close to my face. Like she put her fist in my eye. Like while trying to get my fucking temperature. And like I closed my eyes and kind of backed up. And like I made a face because her hand was in my face. And I didn't like that. You know what I mean? Like I just didn't like the fact that she had a fucking hand in my face. Because I don't know you, lady.
It's your right to do so.
It's my right to be what?
To react the way you did.
It was like, yeah, like I felt like that's a normal reaction. If somebody like quickly puts their hand in your face and holds it there, like your reaction is to like back away. And so she was like, "What?" I was like, "Nothing." I was like, "Back up a little bit." And she was like, "We gotta have good vibes here this morning." And I said it, and I said it the way I said it. I said it like, "Yeah, back up a little bit." And she was like, I was like, "I don't have bad vibes." She's like, "Yeah, you do. You're being negative." I was like, "I'm not." I was like, "It's 9 o'clock in the morning." And I was like, I have the right to sound tired and grumpy and mean. It's early. Like, back the fuck up. It was like, and like, it's been since then. Like, that was when she decided I was mean.
See,
Like,
that comes off as a little abrasive. Now, the way, like, I probably would have handled it would have been different because I probably would have turned it into a joke. But it would have been like the driest of jokes. Because when she was like, "What?" I probably would have just been like, "I thought you were about to punch me in the face." Like, and I, because that would have been like my subtle way of being like, back up a little bit.
now, I would like to point out that a couple of weeks ago, we did have an interaction where I said something similar to that because she was changing out the nacho powder in my on my machine, and I dodged away because she reached kind of fast, and then she's like, "What?" I was like, "I thought you were trying to hit me," and she's like, "If I wanted to hit you, I'd hit you," and I was just like, "I don't know if you're allowed to say that." Like I
School friends.
I was like, "I don't think you're allowed to say that to me." Like, I'm a fucking patient here. You can't say that. And so, like, it sucked. Because in my head, in my heart, like I knew. Like, one, she didn't tell me, like, for those, she left. Today was her last day. She didn't tell me it was her last day. I overheard it from somebody else. That today was going to be her last day and she's going to
confront her about it.
I'm getting there. And she decided that she wants to do hospice care because it'll give her better, like, the hours are better.
Ooh, Lord, why?
I don't. The answer is because it gives her better, like, hours to be with her kid. That's it.
She'll do better.
And I was just like, hospice care, nigga. Fuck.
When she gets tired of changing boo-boo diapers at work and at home, she'll be back.
And she didn't tell, we interacted a few times throughout the day, and she never said anything. She never was like this. This is my last day, right? Like, nah, she never said anything like that. There was even this moment where like the chair directly in front of me, like directly in front of me. She was cleaning it up for the next person because after like each patient leaves, they wipe everything down with bleach. And she was throwing stuff away, and she has a tendency to throw everything. And she was like, "Did you see that? I made it." She's like I assumed she thought I was looking at her. And so there was this moment where she was just like, "Did you see that?" And I was like, "Did I see what?" "Yes, I had saw it." And I was like, "See what?" She's like, "I made it." I was like, "You proud of yourself?" And I, goddamn, yo, I said, "Are you proud of yourself?" She glared at me. And I was like, how did that get that response? How was that the reaction I got from this? And I was like, she was like, I'm not answering that question. I'm not saying yes and I'm not saying no. I was like, okay, so you are proud of yourself. Got it. And I told her there's nothing wrong with being proud of yourself. Sometimes you got to be your own cheerleader. And I thought that that was like a very positive thing to say. I was like, you were proud of yourself. You shot your. As a boy, I like throwing things into things. I don't know why it's fun. It is. I like basketball for that reason alone. Of all the sports, I like basketball the most because you get to throw a thing into a thing, and when it goes in, it's like, ah, fuck yeah. Like, that's it. I don't have anything else to give you. My trash can is on top of an amplifier. It is like in a great spot in my room. It even kind of has a backboard. I throw things into my trash can all the time. It's very fun. So like, I was just baffled by the fact that like, okay, so like you like it like I really looked at it like, oh, so you really do take every opportunity you can to just be upset with me. Like, you don't like me at all, do you? Like, you for real don't like me. And I was like, that's weird. Why don't you like me? I'm great. I even told her one day, she's like, you should really get to know me. Because she called me a fucking, not a hypocrite. What the fuck did she call me? What is Dennis?
Oh, is this what she called you a narcissist?
Yeah, she called me a narcissist. And I was like, I don't really think you know what a narcissist is. Like, by definition, I don't think you know what a narcissist is. But, like, I'm like, I'm not a narcissist. Yes, you are. You're very narcissistic. And I was like, I was baffled. I don't think I'm a narcissist.
Maybe she meant, like, sarcastic. But,
no.
like...
No, because she used the word narcissistic
God,
multiple times.
I am such a douchebag. Like...
No, she called me a narcissist multiple times in that conversation.
I'm sure she's not dumb.
I don't think she's dumb.
Well, I was gonna say the thing that you said with the basketball thing though, if you said it in that tone of voice, it could have come off as very cynical. Which is probably why she has that reaction.
Like, oh, are you proud of yourself? Like, okay, to be fair, that's how I talk when I'm out in public. That is how I talk when I'm out in public.
Yeah, there was no tone, no inflection. It was just a flat statement.
Yeah. Are you proud of yourself? It was a question. Are you proud of yourself?
Like you spoke in text.
Oh God. I guess you could say that. Well, that was my response though. I was like, "Are you proud of yourself?" And the answer was clearly fucking yes, because she was smiling and she was like, "Hey, did you see what I just did? Bitch, you fucking proud of yourself? Like, that's cool." I didn't mean to call her a bitch. I mean, I did, but I'm black. Fucking eat a dick. That's how I talk. I was like, "But you said a bad word." Yeah, I know, but it doesn't mean it's not always negative. Like, it's just not. I don't know how to explain that. Like, if you're a woman, the word bitch probably offends you. Like, okay, get over it. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, sometimes you get called a bitch and it doesn't mean you're mean or rude or anything like that. Sometimes that's just a word we use to describe you. Like, a lot of times it's because we don't know your name or we can't think of it at the moment. Yeah, the one bitch, the or motherfucker or nigga are also words that are technically negative, but we will also often use them in place of the actual the proper noun because we either can't think of it or it's moving so fast that's the first thing that comes out. But it is not me.
I will never.
No, he won't, but a lot of us do. I do. I'm speaking for me.
Unless your name is that dumb hoe.